mind just filling the seats? Y'all please come sit in the reserved seats. Fill in, that'd be great, thank you. Good morning. Thank you all for coming out today to help us dedicate the building in honor of our beloved Bob Brooks. He's our former chief deputy who passed away on February 11th of 2024. I want to first recognize Bob's family, the Brooks and Curry families, for coming today to honor Bob's memory. Bob's memory and his legacy. I also want to recognize the many public servants that are here today to support us. First Gentleman Brian Sanders, thank you for being here. Former Congressman Jim McCreary, former Attorney General Dustin McDaniel. I see a ton of our members of the State General Assembly, cabinet secretaries, other constitutional officers. Thank you guys for coming and supporting. Over 2 years ago, Bob and Tim had a vision for the office, both the building and the office as a whole. Both for the building and the office as a whole, always with an eye on how to better serve the citizens of the state of Arkansas. We're here today because of what Bob and Tim did 2 years ago and every single day since then, to execute on their vision for the new home for the office that was functional, that was beautiful, but more importantly, that served as a home for the best and the largest law firm in the state of Arkansas. If you worked with Bob for more than 5 minutes, you would hear that phrase, the best law firm in the state. That's what he wanted for the office of the Attorney General. But what he understood that to mean was different than most people would initially think of when they saw the best. Of course, he wanted to have the highest quality legal briefs. He wanted to have the best oral arguments. He wanted to recruit the best legal minds to serve with us on the team, and for us to always hold ourselves out to the highest standards, both ethically and intellectually. But I think what Bob also meant by being the best law firm in the state was that he wanted to solve problems. He would often tell me, Alex, I need problem solvers, not problem creators. It was never enough to just spot an issue and raise it. Bob set the standard for us to obtain an encyclopedic knowledge of the issue at hand, to think of it from every angle and to get total conceptual clarity. Then we would go and execute with precision, diligence, and professionalism. Bob was never interested in mediocrity. He was never satisfied with good enough. He wanted to solve problems for Arkansans with the best of the best. This building is one of those solutions, and it will serve as a home for intellectual curiosity, for hard work, and for professionalism. It will serve as a home for dedication to the craft and for service and sacrifice every single day. After Bob passed, I found myself without my sounding board, without my person. So I began to ask in everything that we did, what would Bob Brooks do? I asked myself this because he never stopped at good enough for government work. He wanted to be elite. He wanted you to be proud of this office. And he wanted you to know that the best law firm in the state was looking out for you. As we dedicate this building to him today, I hope you will look at the work product that flows from this team and know that we have endeavored to not just stop at good enough, but that we did what Bob Brooks would have done, and that is to reach for excellence every single day. At this time, I'd like to invite up Ryan Owsley, our Chief Deputy, and the only person who could have taken up the position and built upon Bob's incredible legacy. And I'll ask that Ryan come up and give the invocation.
Would you please bow your heads and pray with me? Almighty God, you have surrounded us with a great cloud of witnesses. Grant that we, encouraged by the good example of your servant Bob Brooks, Jr., may persevere in running the race that is set before each of us, until at last, with him, we attain to your eternal joy. And we ask that you send down on Attorney General Griffin, all future attorneys general, and all the staff who will serve in this great building, the spirit of wisdom and charity, and the continued desire for excellence, so that we may faithfully serve Arkansans to promote justice and the good of all people through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Tim asked me to keep this to 25 minutes, so thank you for joining us today as we celebrate a truly remarkable transformation and honor and recognition of Bob Brooks. My name is Merritt Dyke, and I have the privilege of serving as the current president of 50 for the Future. Our organization is comprised of Central Arkansas CEOs and community leaders deeply invested in the future of our city. Currently, one of our top priorities is on downtown Little Rock and the successful implementation of the recently completed downtown master plan. Later, the Attorney General will share insights on the significance of this occasion for the state of Arkansas, the Attorney General's office, and the Brooks family. But right now, I want to speak about what this moment means for our capital city and specifically for our downtown. This building, standing prominently at the intersection of Capitol and Main, occupies a vital location in the very heart of our city. For nearly 2 decades, it sadly sat vacant, a boarded up symbol of disrepair. While Main Street began its encouraging revival beginning in 2010 with notable activity in the 300, 400 thanks to the Tech Park, and 600 blocks with new housing and restaurants, this building remained an eyesore, yet one that sparked the imagination of what could be. Thankfully, in 2023, Moses Tucker decided it was time to make something happen and put this building under contract. Tim had been looking at various locations downtown to move his office, and then one day, while at a stoplight just right over there, he looked up and it hit him, sort of like an epiphany. This is the building in which we should occupy. He immediately called Jimmy Moses to ask what was going on with the building, and that became the first of many calls resulting in the relocation of the Attorney General's office. Today we stand here to witness the inspiring result of their vision and dedication. On behalf of 50 for the Future and me personally, we extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation to them. As a city, we recently finalized a comprehensive downtown master plan, and the work of implementing that plan is now underway. However, this revitalization won't happen automatically or overnight. It will require intentional and targeted developments driven by public-private partnerships, just like the one we celebrate today, to truly bring our downtown back to its full potential. It's crucial to acknowledge that without the support of the state and federal historic tax credits, this very moment might not be possible. Incentive tools like these are absolutely essential for driving economic growth in our cities and towns, and I eagerly anticipate a future with even more such incentives available in Arkansas. The key objective of our downtown master plan is to increase the density of people living downtown. While this specific project doesn't add housing, it significantly contributes to the number of people working on Main Street each day. These are individuals who frequent the nearby restaurants and shops, enhancing the overall livability and walkability of our city, ultimately making it safer and a more welcoming place for everyone. Tim often wisely says, as goes the capital city, goes the state. Downtown's truly at the heart of every city, and a strong city requires a strong heart. The renovation of this building represents a tremendous step forward in strengthening ours. Thank you all for coming out today and being here to witness this important milestone.
Thank you all for being here today. Good morning. It's an honor to be here. My name is Brian Sanders. I'm the first gentleman of the state, and I know Sarah wishes she could join us here today to thank Attorney General, Tim Griffin, his team, and everyone else who's had a hand in renovating the Boyle Building in today's dedication of the Bob R. Brooks Jr. Justice Building. For more than 100 years, the Boyle Building has stood right here in the heart of Little Rock. When it was built, it was Arkansas's tallest structure and one of the first skyscrapers in the region. For the last 25 years, though, as Merritt said, this landmark has been empty and decaying, creating blight where it once added beauty. Under Attorney General Griffin, that has changed. He had the vision to imagine this building revitalized and the tenacity to get it financed, constructed, and completed. There's a reason why Sarah calls Tim the Bulldog. He's the most tenacious and aggressive Attorney General anywhere in the country. He's done a tremendous job representing our state, and it's no surprise to any of us that he got this done. A priority of ours in Sarah's first legislative session was expanding historic tax credits to make projects like this possible. Not just to continue to revitalize Main Street here in Little Rock, but to bring Main Street and small towns all across Arkansas back to life. Today's dedication and opening of the Bob R. Brooks Jr. Justice Building is not just a long overdue improvement to the Attorney General's workplace. It will help revitalize and build momentum for downtown Little Rock, especially with the addition of Little Rock chef and Sarah's friend from Ouachita, Jennifer Mond's highly anticipated new restaurant here. And it makes sense that this complex will be named in honor of Bob R. Brooks Jr., whom we lost far too soon last year. Bob was a great Arkansan and everything that we could ask for in a public servant. Brilliant, committed, humble, kind, and a mentor to a generation of young attorneys here in the state. Like everyone else, Sarah and our team in the governor's office absolutely loved working with Bob. Sarah's dad saw Bob's moral fiber and appointed him to the Arkansas Ethics Commission. He was a role model for everyone in state government. On behalf of Sarah and everyone in her administration, I extend our congratulations on the completion and dedication of this project, an anchor for downtown Little Rock and a fitting legacy for Attorney General Tim Griffin and his dear friend Bob Brooks. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I want to start out, and I know I'll miss some people, but so many people to thank, so much gratitude on this side and in this building. Truly an extraordinary team effort. I'm sure Jimmy Moses thought I was crazy, so I want to thank him for taking all those calls before he realized I wasn't as crazy as he thought, but still a little bit crazy. All the Moses Tucker folks, Chris and Jamie and the Central Construction folks and George Friedman and, oh God, so many, Todd Henson, so many people that we've worked with, Gabe at the Downtown Partnership, Laura at Moses Tucker. The legislature has been, the governor and Brian have been supportive, as you just saw, but the legislature has been extraordinary. And the cacophony of voices praising this when they could have been wrong and opposed it. It's a joke. They weren't wrong. They didn't oppose it. They immediately saw the wisdom of owning a building for a permanent office. Who would rent a state capitol? No one. Who would rent a governor's mansion? No one. Who would rent a permanent office for the Attorney General? Well, it happened for 35 years. Not anymore. We need to own this. This is a permanent building. So I want to thank everybody for seeing that, particularly Senator Dismayne is here somewhere, Senator Dismayne. He really led the charge on the tax credits, and it's critical to this, absolutely critical, because the state was the perfect ones to say, we're going to take the risk that maybe the commercial sector, private sector is not quite ready to do. I see Michael, the architect. Thank you, Michael, Robbie Riggs, who worked with me during a big chunk of this period. I'm sure she's here. My staff, extraordinary. Everybody, I've missed a bunch, I know, but everybody who has been a cheerleader for this project, I want to thank you for that. I want to thank particularly my wife and my kids, particularly my wife, who probably heard a lot more about the building than she ever wanted to hear. She thought, and others thought, that I had quit being Attorney General and started developing property downtown. This one, yes, we don't have others in the pipeline yet, but I am volunteering to help. I know that the retirement board is looking to move, and I am briefing them tomorrow on the wisdom of this street. Hint, hint. So, there's been I've talked a lot about what happened and how we got here in other fora. We're not going to do that today. I'm going to focus on Bob. So, this is truly about my best friend and my chief deputy. I lost both at once. Bob Brooks. So I started looking through some text this morning from Bob because I keep them and I refer to them when I need to do a little research, when I need to be encouraged. So in August of 2022, 6 months before I was ever sworn in as AG, Bob sent me a long text. He had analyzed the lease of our old office building per my request, and he had sent me a text that should have been published. It was so long. And at the very end, he said, quote, this is August 18, 2022, quote, "You can likely show big, all caps, long-term savings for the taxpayer, period," end quote. He was talking about finding a new home. My reply, which I was slightly wrong, was, "I will leave in 2024. I expressed my intention to leave in 2024 or in 2023, but I actually am leaving in 2025. So we were talking about this really early. And in early 23, the day we toured this building was, I looked it up, it was April 10th of 2023. We all, Bob and I and Moses Tucker folk, we all went to the roof, had to climb the stairs. There were no elevators functioning. It was a trash heap in here, truly, truly. And dangerous, precarious, open holes and all kind of other stuff. And Bob on the 17th, the week after, said, quote, "We feel we are ready to pull the trigger on your new space. Much due diligence has been incurred over the past few months, Tim. We had been looking at other options. He had put a spreadsheet together, and we were getting real close to pulling the trigger." And then finally, in September of 2023, he wrote this, and I'll never forget it. Quote, "Bull Tower," we were going to name it after Bull Randleman. That's going to be the park behind you now. So let me just say, Brooks Tower, quote, "Brooks Tower is going to blow some people away, establishing a long-term legacy for all future AGs," end quote. Here's what I want to say. Bob was right about everything. He truly was. I went back through those today. I was like, the analysis was right. Our decision was right. It was the right thing to do. But when I look at this building, what I say is, this is exactly as Bob would have wanted it. And what do I mean? I'm going to name 3 main areas. Number 1, this building honors and respects the past. It is undoubtedly, by any standard, the most beautiful building on this strip, with all due respect to some of these other things. This building is gorgeous by any standard. And we honor that. Inside, we kept everything that we could from the past, the brick, the exposed brick, the elevators, the Art Deco elevators, the marble. We respected the past. We honored it. We kept what we could. The craftsmanship on the ceiling, if you get to go in here, will blow you away. So we did that with intentionality. But, secondly, This building, make no mistake about it, while it looks like an architectural treasure from 1909, which it is focused full speed ahead on the future. This building is built for speed, y'all. It doesn't look like it, but inside, it is completely modern. We've never had a moot courtroom. We had to practice our court arguments with a marker board and a pretend mic. You know, we were just sort of doing what we could. We have a moot courtroom that is going to be used for competitions by other schools, the law school, they've already booked it. And it is befitting of this office in this building. It is built for the future, absolutely built for the future. And number 3, excellence is not an accident. If you want to be excellent, you have to be intentional. And that was what Bob pursued. You heard from Alex. And everything we've done here has been focused on excellence. The soldier we were going to name this park after, we were going to name the building after, he was with the 101st Airborne Division. This address was 103 West Capitol. It's no longer 103. It's 101 to match the plaza that's going across the street. We have been all about the detail. As you go through here, you will see detail, detail, detail. Intentional. Ask our practitioners, what do you need to make your day better and to make you a better attorney? We were intentional. Intentionality was the key, and it was the key to Bob. So here's what I'd like to say. We're going to hear from Sabra, his sister. I loved Bob, and for those of you who many of you didn't know Bob, and you think, well, this is just a building being named after Bob. Wrong. Merritt said it, and Brian said it. Bob really inspired and continues to inspire a level of drive toward excellence and doing what's right. Bob used to have a saying, it's never too late to do the right thing. So Bob was very special. And we are doing some things in this building. We're putting a bronze plaque at the corner. We're going to do some other things in the building that is going to continue to remind people, generations to come down the road, of who Bob was and the impact he had. And we hereby dedicate this building to Bob and his memory and the impact that he continues to have today. So I want to now ask Sabra, Bob's sister, to come up and share a few words. And I want to thank the Brooks family, Curry family for being here, all the friends that came from D.C. Please come up and share your heart with us.
Hi there. I'm going to try really hard to do this. I'm Bob's sister. I was a long-term Arkansan until September when we moved to Texas to be with my son and daughter-in-law, my grandchild. I just want to thank everybody who's here today. Many of you have traveled long ways to get here, and I appreciate it so much. Many of you knew Bob from his days in Fort Smith. Some of you knew him from his days in college at the University of Arkansas. Some of you knew him from law school in Tulsa. Some of you knew him from his time in Washington, D.C., and certainly his time in Arkansas. He was thrilled to be back in Arkansas. He was thrilled to be back with my parents and to be closer to Ryan. And he had just become a great uncle and been able to see Rex twice before he passed away. My brother was an avid Arkansas Razorback sports fan.
Understatement.
Whether it was baseball, basketball, football. If he were here today, he would be telling you all the stats about the College World Series and the path that Arkansas has been on to get there, and he would be texting with all his friends who are here about the predictions of the game, that there's only 2 SEC teams in the tournament coming up. more than anything, Bob did make an impact on the state. This building is beautiful. I was able to take a tour last night. He'd be horrified his name is on the building in all reality. But I hope it is a landmark for Arkansas. And in the future, like Tim said, there's going to be more mementos inside that will represent Bob. And some of the things that will be in a special case for him are some of his absolute favorites, which was golf. All of his golf balls either said bombs away or go Hogs go. There'll be that in there. His Kappa Sigma Marine from his fraternity at the University of Arkansas. His high school diploma from Southside High School. His favorite songwriter, Bob Dylan, his book will be in there, as well as the Rolling Stones. And his absolute favorite book that was then turned into a movie, which was True Grit, which was about the Fort Smith area that we grew up in. I hope in time, once the building is totally finished, that you will have the opportunity to come back and see the different mementos that will be here to remember Bob. Again, thank you all so much for coming and being a part of this with our family today.
So just thank you so much, Sabra, and thanks again to everybody who's here. I know I missed many people, and I apologize. I do want to say, so there's a lot of people here. We're all in there working. We can't take this many people on a tour today. Now, some of you toured last night. Check, that's great. If you live here locally and can come back another day, that's going to help. If you've traveled and you really need to see it today or never see it, okay, got it. We'll figure that out. We certainly are going to let the legislators who funded it or who fund everything that we do, and we love them, we're going to let them go through if they want to. So the bottom line is we can't take everybody through after the ribbon cutting. So just know that, and we'll do the best we can. And at this time, we're going to have the ribbon cutting. Well, we got that before. Hey, Sabra. Right here. Ron. So, let's squeeze in so we can get the picture. We don't have a wide angle that wide. So let's come down. Anybody who you're not going to be in it if you're way down there. You'll feel like you are, but you won't be. So if you really want to be in the picture, squeeze in. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Right. Damn. Okay, everybody got their cameras ready? We're going to do it. We're going to count down 3, 2, 1. Are y'all ready? Okay, anybody not ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to work.
Nice to see you.